This morning to continue the interview series with flag bearer aspirants. Recently, we interviewed lawyer Adi Macaulay, lawyer Usman Timbo, Dr. Kelfalamara on their plans for the flag bearer race. In this edition, we have Dr. Richard Conteh, former chief of staff under former President Ernest Bai Koromaa's government. He's here to talk about his plans for the flag bearer race, his comment on governance, democracy, the tripartite committee report, among other things. Good morning, Dr. Richard Conteh, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here again.
In the introduction, I spoke about you as former chief of staff. But let's start with, who is Dr. Richard Conteh, and why does he want to be president of Sierra Leone?
Dr. Richard Conteh is the son of late KB Conteh and Alice Burumak Conteh from Bendembu, Bombali district, northern Sierra Leone. I grew up in the home of a teacher and a housewife, and went to school in different locations in Bombali, went to university at Jala, taught in secondary school, lectured at the university, worked for Catholic Relief Services, served as a civil society activist in the sub-region, headed the West Africa Civil Society Forum, came back, became a minister. I'm a businessman. I want to run for the highest office in this land because I believe that over the years, with all of these experiences I've gathered, I think I need to give back to my country in one way or the other. My expertise, my experience, the knowledge I've gained, and I therefore offer myself as someone ready to serve my country so that we can build a team that can help harmonize, bring harmony to this country, create opportunities for everyone, and help transform this country and make it the country that we all love, our beloved Sierra Leone.
It's quite interesting at a time like this when the citizens have had more consciousness about their rights and what the government owes them as citizens, and with all the scarcity of resources to change the trajectory of the country within the shortest possible time. You wonder, why do people want to be president at this time with all the problems now?
That is precisely why I want to be president. Because I do not share the view that there is scarcity of resources in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is endowed with resources. We have a lot of natural resources. You name them, from diamonds to lithium to iron ore to bauxite, you name them. There are even reports that we may even have exploitable quantities of gas, if not oil. We also have the human capital, the human resource, which is very, very important. And our natural landscape, our soils, are fertile enough to be able to generate sufficiently for us to be able to feed ourselves, at least, if not export. So with all of these resources we have, and with the little I have gained having worked in these different sectors, I believe that with the right type of leadership and with the right type of team that can be put together, this country can be transformed within the shortest possible time, and every Sierra Leonean will be proud again that I am a Sierra Leonean.
Sadly, this story sounds way too familiar. The politicians versus the people. In opposition, all these beautiful ideas and sentiments and statements come up. But those who have had the privilege of being voted by the people to sit on that seat of the presidency, when in office, the story changes. It's before versus after. If you're going to advise the people, what should they look at this time around to choose amongst all of you who are vying for that seat? How can they decipher those who come with mere words and those who might take the right actions?
Thank you very much. That is precisely what I have consistently maintained. We have to judge people not based upon what they come and say, but on their track record, on their antecedents. Go and look back at Richard as a teacher, Richard as a lecturer, Richard as a civil society activist, Richard as somebody working for ECOWAS, Richard as a minister, Richard as a businessman. Look at my track record of performance, track record of delivery, and tell me whether I have what it takes to transform this country. Secondly, we have to get to the point where we no longer get people into office that have no pedigree that they come with into those offices. We need people that have the requisite experience and wherewithal with a credible and impeccable track record for them to be able to say they can lead, and you'll have confidence in saying yes, they can.
Doctor, your story sounds quite convincing, you know, but one would ask, what makes you think you're the fittest man?
What makes me feel I am the fittest man is because of my track record of performance, delivery, and credibility.
Credibility. You know, I was reading last night and, you know, came across some, I understand everyone has his own deficiencies, but you were dismissed from office as chief of staff of allegations of, you know, serious corruption, especially regarding the illegal timbers scandal. What makes you think people should trust you now?
Thank you very much for bringing this up. I was actually dismissed for a crime I did not commit.
Okay.
Luckily for me, I was taken to court. The current Chief Justice tried me. The late Bine took over from him, and one judge I don't know finally dismissed the matter for lack of evidence. In front of Justice Commander, the handwriting specialist from the CID came and said it was my signature which was forged. Nobody forged any other person's signature. It was my signature, and they brought the evidence in open court. And guess what? There is now an audio and a video where the person who actually forged my signature confessed publicly, first in front of his fellow chairman.
Who's this person?
Suma, Ali Suma. He's the current chairman of the Potloko district for the APC. He confessed to his colleague, chairman, to say he wronged me and is asking for forgiveness. He even went further to say that he was tortured to lie against me. He was tortured to make a statement to say he bribed me $5 million. Can you imagine? And he has the scars on his back.
Tortured by who?
At the CID. For him to make up a story against me. He said, but he refused. He went to Potloko at a general meeting.
Doctor, these are serious allegations. Are you saying that the crux of police people who dealt with your issue are corrupt? Because you're saying that they forced this man to lie. Is that what you're saying?
No, luckily he did not. He refused to lie.
But they did force him to lie.
They tried to force him to lie, but he refused. You know, and it's really unfortunate. And this is really one story I don't enjoy speaking about, because I know what I have suffered since the 9th of June 2014 as a result of that wrongful action against me. But guess what? I have decided to put it behind me. And I take solace in the fact that not only the courts vindicated me, but that the person who also committed the crime came out and confessed and asked for forgiveness. So I feel vindicated. And as a Christian, I have put that behind me and I'm moving on. Sincerely, if I was guilty of any such crime, I will not dare to stand up and say I will run.
How many have done it, actually? You know, it's not a strange thing.
I'm only speaking about myself.
Okay.
Because I am somebody that cares so much about my image. I care so much about my integrity.
How much do you care about this image, Doctor?
Very much. And that is why I've been very careful in all my career to ensure that I do the right thing. Unfortunately, People have always come up with stories. Even this government, in 2019, they came up and said, I've stolen $11 million. They mounted the whole propaganda. They arrested me, locked me up for 5 days, investigated me for 3 years, only to come and write a report to say the money is in the bank. I said, but I told you that I did not touch the money. I'm only Minister of Trade. But the Minister of Trade does not see the money. The money comes through the Minister of Finance. Minister of Finance opens an escrow account, and no cent comes out of there without cabinet approval or executive approval. Don't go after me. You are just punishing me because you think I am vociferous and I challenge issues. But that's not the way to go about it. So they investigated me for 3 years, and they wrote a report to vindicate me. So I don't have no problem with people making accusations. What I have a problem with is whether or not I, Richard Conteh, will then allow myself to be found culpable. So because of that track record, I always raise my hands and say my hands are clean. And I challenge anybody with credible evidence about anything corrupt or anything that impinges on my integrity to come forward with that evidence.
You know, a lot.
And that is why I'm confident to say I need to come now and work with a team, build a team, build on my knowledge and experience, and take steps to transform this country.
You know, a lot of people have come before you, just like yourself, you know, including even the current government. A lot of them believe in the natural resources we have in Sierra Leone and the huge capabilities for financial upliftment. But they end up grumbling much more than the people whom they are supposed to serve, you know, as if it were the people who actually sent them there. You know, you opted to become president, and you've told us this morning that you believed in the richness of our resources here, and you can maximize profit from those resources.
Yes.
How can you do so?
First of all, let me state this. The people who come back into governance and start complaining really don't even have a plan.
It's everyone who. I mean, since we gained independence, all of these governments, I mean, which have ruled Sierra Leone, have crumbled.
I'm not their spokesperson.
Including the APC, I'm saying.
I'm not
it's not only the SLPP.
I've never been spokesperson for the APC.
Okay.
I served in the APC government. I believe in the record of the APC government. I believe in my own personal record, and I vouch for that.
Is it that you do not share the ideology with the party?
I share the ideology of the party, but you are not talking about ideology. You are talking here about
wealth maximization.
You are talking about the individuals that spoke about wealth, but then when they got into power, started complaining.
So how would you do it?
I've never complained. What I will do is to make sure that we use the minerals of this country to benefit us. And one step in that direction was what I did when I was Minister of Trade. When I was Minister of Trade, we passed the local content law. What that local content law actually does is to ensure that the resources of this country actually benefit us.
In what ways?
And we made provisions in that law to suggest that even in the recruitment process, Sierra Leoneans must be put in high-level positions of responsibility. We also said that government, on behalf of the people, must own at least 30% of the shares in all of these big companies, big investments in this country. And I believe that when Sierra Leone was more actively involved in direct mining, during the NDMC days, the SNST days, I believe that Sierra Leone derived more from our natural resources than now. That is why I personally support the move to establish that agency that is now responsible for nationalizing some mines, because I will do that when I become president, because we believe that when we nationalize, we will be able to benefit. Secondly, one thing that has stopped us from benefit, apart from the general corruption, and apart from the fact that some of the contracts have not been overly transparent and in our best interest, is the fact that we have not been.
But I hope you understand that some of those contracts were signed by the APC even.
Excuse me. It's that we have not been adding value. I'll come to that.
Yes, I know.
Let me just finish this point.
Okay.
We've not been adding value to our agricultural produce, to our minerals before export. And when you don't add value, you don't really derive much in terms of resources from it. Worst of all, when they export, look at when the mining companies export, they export everything. You might have a license to export iron ore or gold. But in that debt that you are exporting, there might be diamonds, there might be other minerals. We do not have an export inspection regime that would allow us to be able to know exactly what the quantity and value of minerals are in those in that thing you are shipping, so that we then be able to levy the appropriate royalties, appropriate other taxes and dues applicable. So when we come back, we'll ensure we do that. On the issue of contracts, first of all the contracts that this government inherited, they have terminated. So let's have that one straight. They have terminated and they have put in place their own contracts. When we came into power in 2007, what we actually did was to renegotiate some of these contracts, but we did not kick out anybody. We looked at the contracts, we identified shortcomings in the contracts, we identified areas where we could guarantee more revenues accruing to government, and then we renegotiated. We renegotiated the London mining contract, we renegotiated the African Minerals contract, among others. And these are the biggest contracts at the time, and that is what we believe should be done, because one of the things that limits foreign direct investment, especially in the mining sector, is the fact that the investors do not have confidence in the ability of successive governments to honor their contracts, to honor the agreements they're signed to. And that's not good for our country. When contracts have been properly executed, successive governments should honor those contracts when properly executed.
The first step to you failing or succeeding to become president is convincing the electorate within the APC to first make you flag bearer of the political party itself.
Yeah.
Do you think the party would be convinced to make you their flag bearer?
Yes. They will be convinced because I have a clear track record of being there for the party in times of need. In fact, they call me check your phone, because I've been there to respond to the social and economic needs of the average APC man out there. Beyond that, when we have by-elections all over this country, especially in the strongholds of the SLPP, I'm the only person who would go there and stay there for weeks, campaigning with them, conducting elections with them, training agents, deploying them, doing the collation of the results before I come back, regardless of the outcome. But in all of these cases, we have a consistent pattern of significantly increasing our percentage share of the votes. I have demonstrated to them that when we had issues with elections, issues with census, issues with human rights abuses of one sort or the other, I've always been consistent in coming out and articulating the position of the party. I've always made myself available even to the leadership of my party to offer myself to do a lot of things that I will not outline here for various leaders when requested to do so. So I've presented myself and they have acknowledged that I'm somebody who can be there for the party, who can stand for the party, defend the party, and stand for the ideals of the party. But more importantly, in doing so, I also reflect a desire to see positive change happening in this country.
For the former leaders that Sierra Leone have had, especially those in, perhaps you would say, recent times, you might think that they perhaps wanted to do much more than they could have done. But sometimes the party is stronger than the president. When you have all the forces in the party and all those voices coming to remind you of how you got to sit on that seat, and those who perhaps would threaten a possibility of continued support in that seat, or perhaps, if you even get elected, a second term, it tends to leave the sitting leaders as presidents to compromise certain things what they think is good for the country versus what the political party wants. If you're in that situation, how would you navigate?
I do not share that view because in our party, for example, I can always speak for my party. In our party, the flag bearer is also the leader of the party. And in our party, we have a history of always respecting our leader and allowing the leader to provide the direction that we should go. What has been the problem? And this is something I have sat in recent times and discussed with my former boss. What has been the problem is that
By former boss, you mean who?
I only have one, President Kuruma. Okay. When we are forming government, oftentimes it's just a bunch of people, a bunch of players, and not a team. And because it's just a bunch of players.
Could a bunch of players not be a team?
No. Everybody comes with his or her own identity. They do not know each other. There's no synergy. There's no bonding. There's no teamwork. And so we spent a lot of time fighting against each other. Instead of complementing each other and supporting the overall agenda of the government. That was, in my view, a reason why we did not achieve as much as we could have achieved under President Kuruma. There is a lot more that he could have achieved, but for that unnecessary infighting. And because of that experience that I have gained, personally, even being a victim of that infighting, I believe that one thing any leader has to do is to put together a team. You know, even in football, it is not the team with the best players that necessarily wins. It is the team that has players that work together, not to project individual egos, but to work together to achieve a common goal, which is to win that match. And that is what I believe we will do when we come back into power in 2028. We're going to build a team of people with a shared vision, a shared passion. That is why, for example, we are going to, when we launch our manifesto, it will be a very different manifesto. It will be a strategic plan, a 10-year national strategic plan with a 3-year rolling plan and a 1-year action plan. And every appointee of government will sign a performance contract on the day you come from Parliament to assume office. And your work will be cut out for you. And everybody has to work towards achieving that. My track record as Chief of Staff is clear. Where my performance management and service delivery, how we are ranking, we signed performance contracts, we evaluated them, we ranked people in our offices, and we gave the report cards. So as president, we would intensify that so that every person appointed into government knows that you have a responsibility to the people and you have to deliver. If you don't deliver, unfortunately, we'll ask you to step aside and allow somebody else that is willing and capable to do that to come and move on.
You sure you can do that?
Sure, I have a track record of doing that.
Of removing people from office who do not perform?
Yes. You said it starts by exposing
Doctor, we're going to coach you on these things in the future.
Oh,
I
yes,
hope you know this.
Please do. That is why I'm happy these things are recorded. And one thing I'll tell you, that is why each time I answer my questions, I'll tell you when I was in this ministry, I did this. When I was there, I did this. It's because I've been consistent in everything I do. And everything I do comes out of a deep conviction and a deep reflection. Because I always know that however long you stay in office, one day you'll become former. And whatever actions you take or don't take while in office will always come back to haunt you. So if you do well, I mean, with all of what happened in 2014, believe it or leave it, if I was a bad guy in government, I would be seated here today.
Why do you say so?
Oh, people will have been vilifying me and lambasting me and pushing me around all over the place. But no, I left office and people who worked with me still respect me to this day. And guess what? I was able to survive all of this period because people who believed in me continue to stand by me and support me through this period.
A lot of people claim you shared a video where you spewed, well, if you like, revenge.
Myself, I did not spew revenge. I'm saying talking about the debate I made in Bo.
You made a video, yes.
I did not.
It was viral on social media.
I did not. In fact, I'm a unifier. I do not believe in revenge. However, I always believe that we can never have peace without justice. I'd always believe...
Do you think people will mistake that for revenge?
No. It's not revenge. It's actually making sure that it becomes a deterrent. So that no other person... You know, we don't want a situation wherein when APC comes to power tomorrow, they also go after SLPP. It's not right. But the only way we can stop that from happening is when we ensure that those APC people, those PMDC people, those NUP people, those ADP people that think that their rights have been infringed upon, that think their relatives have been killed unjustly, that think their homes have been devastated unjustly, that think that siblings have been raped unjustly, we have to ensure that they have justice so that they can put those issues to rest. When we have, you know, this country has to be a country of law and order. We cannot allow a situation wherein people just kill other people as if they don't matter, as if their lives don't matter. Those lives must matter.
Are you referencing happenings?
Oh yes, we saw killings in Pademba Road, we saw killings in Makeni, we saw killings in Medina, we saw killings in different places in this country. We've seen that. We've seen cases of arson in Bo. We saw Satel Amin raped in Kailan, etc.
Who do you responsible for those cases?
I don't know. That is why proper investigations must be done in an open and transparent manner, and wherever the evidence leads, we go. And whoever is found culpable has to face the full force of the law so that Sierra Leoneans will come back to the point of saying, we now have rule of law in this country. We now have a situation wherein if I feel aggrieved, I can go to the courts, I can go to the police, and I can seek redress, and I can have justice. That, I believe, is a short step to ensuring that we have peace, stability in this country, which is the bedrock for sustainable development.
In your party, how respected and loved or wanted do you think you are? I mean, don't forget, there are other people who've come before you. You know, there is Timbo there, all of the other people whom we've interviewed in this same studio where you're seated right now. They too, just like you, have spewed flowery expressions, you know, of how, you know, gallantly they've matured, and how fit they are to rule us. And you're saying the same things in your party. Do you think you are perhaps by far the most loved face?
You see,
most wanted man in there?
The statement you made just goes to confirm that I'm the wrong person to ask. Maybe you should conduct a poll.
Okay.
Because if you ask me, I will tell you I'm the most loved. I'm going to win tomorrow.
Do you possibly believe that? If you said that, would you believe what you said?
Yes.
That you are the most loved in the party?
I mean,
what indicators would you point to?
When I contested for the first time, I came second. And I was contesting for the first time. And there were people who had contested before me. Okay? So, and even though I was contesting for the first time, I came second. And now, going forward, I think I have not only maintained that base, I have built upon that base, and I think I've expanded upon it. I think I'm even stronger. So I think my chances are a lot better than what they were in 2023. You know, so at least I have a reference point. I don't know on what basis the others are speaking, but like I said, conduct a poll and go and ask the average APCian, and they will tell you.
Perhaps
last week I won a poll that was conducted by WIAD. I came first.
Poll for what?
on the most favored person in the APC to become flag bearer.
While we may not be able to conduct a popularity poll this morning, we will just head to the comment section on our Facebook page and read you what's available. Hosam Conteh says, Richard Conteh, you pose to be a unifier. Tell the people of this country, what unity have you brought to the people of the Southeast? Hosam Conteh again says, after he has contributed in dividing the country based upon political views, and he's talking about becoming a president, it's unbelievable how he wants to play politics. Uncle Sule says, please ask him what he did for the country when he was serving in the former president's government. For example, Dr. Maran Samoa boasts of fastest economy when they were both bank governor and minister of finance respectively. Mohammed Prince Med Mara says, AYV, it seems like Dr. Richard's flag bearership is a white elephant. What will he explain about that? Idris Abundu says he has been campaigning long time now. He is composed and uniting the APC party. It's only left with the delegates to decide for his presidential race. He shares district boundary with Samoa in the north. Dwayne Daniel says, underestimate Dr. Richard Conteh at your own risk. Mark 10, New Englandville says, imagine an APC party led by Dr. Richard Conteh, someone who understands the pulse of urban and rural youth and can craft policies that address youth unemployment, digital inclusion, and education reform. Such leadership doesn't just reinvigorate the party, it will also set the nation on a transformative path. Abdullah Kagbo says, what can he point at as his own legacy in his community or town? We want to know. Hosam Conteh again says, Dr. Richard Conteh, what is your relationship within the southeast of the country? And further, what are the tangible developments you've done in those parts of the country? There are a lot of messages, but I'll limit them to these because of time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will just start by thanking everybody for the comments that they have made, and I think it's very helpful. There is a lot being said about Southeast. In fact, interestingly, even though I come from the North, my stronghold is in Southeast. And I've reached out to the Southeast with a message of peace and unity. A message that I've consistently passed on to say, Sierra Leone is one country, and Sierra Leone is, in fact, I've even told people that I like the slogan of the SLPP, one country, one people. Sadly, they don't practice it, you know, but I like the slogan, one country, one people, and that is why I've never been afraid to go all over the Southeast and to engage. And my message has been consistent, a message of unity. And that is what has endeared me to the people in the Southeast. If you ask about my legacy, when I was in the Ministry of Finance, we initiated and championed the massive infrastructure drive around this country. When I was Minister of Trade.
You say infrastructure, what do you mean? Infrastructure
Roads.
drive? Roads, okay.
All over this country. When I was in the Ministry of Trade, we launched I told you about the local content policy. We made Sierra Leone the Doing Business Index, Sierra Leone the third and the sixth most improved country in the world for ease of doing business. We attracted a lot of investors. For the first time, we hosted in this country over 300 credible investors in this country. And so if Sierra Leone, by 2013, 2014, when I was then Chief of Staff, became the fastest economy in this country, it's because of the investments that came into this country, which the work we did in trade contributed towards.
You declared austerity later on, in fact.
When I was Chief of Staff, Sierra Leone was suspended from the EITI. I made Sierra Leone EITI compliant again within a short time. We instituted the performance management system, which was very effective and led to speedy implementation of activities. I have also, apart from being a public servant, apart from being an international civil servant, I've also worked as a businessman in this country. And I've contributed to employment of over 100 people. It's modest, it's a small figure, but it's very significant for Sierra Leone. I've employed them in my schools. I have 3 schools, one in Freetown, in Juba, one in Allentown, another in McKinney. I have a guest house in Freetown, I have a hotel in Freetown, and I'm employing Sierra Leoneans, most of them are youths. I've embarked on a range of community initiatives across the country, and the humanitarian arm of my campaign has also embarked on different social and socio-economic activities all over this country. So we are there, we are in touch with the people, we are engaged with the people, we have a track record of delivery, and it is that track record that we want to build upon to bring about a total transformation in this country.
Dr. Conteh, we would end the conversation here for now, and wait, if you won your your flag bearership race, then we would accelerate further. But we wish you well. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
I'm always available anytime. I'll come again. Thank you very much.